Strap on those candles and grab those pickaxes. Adventurers, it's time for the Salty Dog Podcast.
Let's get salty!
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 26 of the Salty Dog Podcast. As always, I'm Clash. He's Dookie. What's up? And we are your salty captains.
Ahoy there, mateys.
Ahoy, ahoy. It's a good day for us booty-loving folk.
That's right.
we have, of course, had the new expansion revealed. What's that?
So we didn't get the pirate expansion that we thought we were getting, but it is a very treasure-filled expansion.
Close enough, I'd say. I feel like Mare and the Fox is pretty piratey. Just on his own.
Minus like being on a boat, he's pretty piratey.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure he's been on a boat once or twice.
He's probably been on a boat.
You can't really kick around Azeroth without getting on a boat at least once or twice.
No, that is very true.
So, we have not played a whole lot recently. It's kind of bad timing with the card reveals and the expansions and stuff, because I was actually out in California visiting Dookie for the last week, and we have been up to all kinds of non-Hearthstone related shenanigans.
Right. Yeah, I didn't play much. I feel like you squeezed in a couple games where you could.
Yeah, I felt like I had to, because I really wanted to take advantage of that arena, because I loved it so much.
Yeah, for sure.
My last run was pretty good. I got to 10 wins and 2 losses with a priest deck, a priest warlock, and I felt like I could have pushed for 12, but there was only an hour left before it was over. And I figured I'd just, do the thing where you let it expire, and I still got my rewards for the 10 wins, and then I got a free arena ticket, so I just decided to go with that. Yeah,
that definitely seems like the most beneficial thing you can do.
Yeah, it definitely makes up for it, getting the extra free arena run, because you could get 12 wins in that run, and then, just doubling down, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have a run going when it ended, so... No free, but I would have had to spend gold to get a new run going, so
yeah,
I was fine with that not happening.
Right.
Just because I want to save up for the new set now, which just got announced, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely didn't think that we were going to get an announcement already. I thought we would have time to make it to this show, where our last 2 weeks ago. Card submission challenge prompt would have actually still made sense, which is try to predict a card from whatever you think the new set is, but now we know.
Yeah.
So we have just informed decisions now.
We should have known though, because BlizzCon was happening.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're gonna announce everything they can during BlizzCon. So
man, they had a good BlizzCon. I mean, Blizz was dropping bombs left and right. I mean, you got the classic WoW servers coming in, which people have been asking for forever. We got, of course, the new set for Hearthstone, a bunch of the new hero for Overwatch, which got me really excited. I haven't been playing Overwatch much, but I'm really excited for that new character.
For Moira?
Yeah, Moira, the Shadow and Light person. Nobody could probably have predicted that I would be into that, so...
Yeah, no, it's totally not you.
But yeah, mostly it was basically a big brewery tour of California.
Yep.
We tried to make sure
a lot of beer was consumed
to the best of our ability that we were not sober at any point.
Yeah. It's true.
But so for this show, we are going to skip a couple of our normal segments to just focus on talking about the new set and the new cards that have come out. So we're going to, skip our homebrew segment, skip the salty card segment. We're going to focus mostly on expansion reveal talk, and of course talking about our preliminary thoughts on the cards that we have seen. We're going to do just a little bit of something that we usually bring up, which is tying in the new set to WoW lore, our WoW lore nerd corner. We're going to talk about kobolds and stuff like that. Of course, capping off the show with our card submission challenge as always. And if you are going to stay and hang out after the stream, Dookie and I are actually both going to open our gold packs and see how well we can do. So stick around for that and see if we just get to 4 commons and a rare opens. I really hope that doesn't happen. I'm scared.
That's what's coming.
Probably. But let's dive right into the new expansion, Kobolds and Catacombs, in our news segment.
What's happening?
Gadgets and Gazette always gets the scoop.
Time is money, friend. Keep it quick, kid. I ain't got all day.
All right, so yes, as you all know, and as we just said, new expansion is called Kobolds and Catacombs, which is, from everything we've seen and what they've said, is going to kind of focus on not only the titular kobold from the title there, but also kind of going back to fantasy roots and like dungeon crawling type mechanics. Obviously, we've seen that they're adding the dungeon run, which is, I guess, as close as you can get to sort of like that dungeon crawling experience with a card game. Sounds very interesting, like almost integrating like a deck building component to it, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, I was super stoked when I heard they were doing that, because there's a lot of times when like I just want to play Hearthstone, but like I'm trying like not to complete a quest, or I just don't want to fuck with the meta, and I just want to like do my own thing, but I want to play Hearthstone. Yeah. And yeah, that's gonna be perfect for that. Just go in and I don't know, do whatever. I don't know what it's gonna be, but it should be fun. So, I mean, they always manage to make single player pretty fun. So
and aside from the downing Lich King with all 9 classes, they've never really been able to make anything with like a replayable value to it. Yeah. Which is why I'm really excited about this, because it seems like not every game is going to play out the same. Like you're going to be able to choose different cards and different paths and fight possibly even different bosses every game. So sounds really cool. Because, once you down Lich King 9 times, you're not going to do it again just for fun.
I found myself, like, wanting to do it more, because it was so fun. It was so fun to do. Yeah. And I was like, I just want to fight Lich King again, but, I was out of classes. It wasn't interesting anymore.
Exactly.
So, there's really no point in doing it.
Yeah, hopefully this will stick around for a while. Be fun to do, fun to stream. It sounds like something that would be cool for all those kinds of things. Just personal play, streaming, and getting involved that way, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I guess this is their version of like, how Ice Crown Citadel launched with Frozen Throne, and you went through that whole single player thing. Yeah. So this is probably going to be like this expansion's version of the single player mode. But this is going to have replay value, so that's really cool.
Definitely. I'm not sure if maybe it's also launching with something a little bit more like the Lich King raid or whatever you want to call it, because they've actually come out and said that you're not going to get any rewards for dungeon runs, because they don't want players to feel like they have to do dungeon runs, like it's added on to like their daily quests or something, and something you got to do all the time. So I am wondering if and how they're going to give out, like free packs like they did with Lich King and even the free legendary, but we've already gotten a free legendary for this set, so maybe they're just going to kind of, just hand them out rather than make you go through hoops to get them, you just get the free stuff.
Yeah, I mean, not incentivizing dungeon run in any way is, it might, keep people from wanting to do it. I mean, even myself included, even though I said I want to do single player stuff, I mean, I guess it just really depends on how fun it is. But yeah, I think a lot of people, that are very min-max oriented or very hardcore might just kind of skip it. It's not going to actually, reward people for anything.
It's definitely crossed my mind as well. I'm not sure why they decided to go with no rewards at all. As opposed to maybe just like flare rewards, I mean, they don't roll out new heroes all that often, so that's not really like a viable option. But there's so many different things about this game that they could make into stuff that you could unlock new things for, like new game boards, different animations for your hero power, just like little things, or like even sort of like decorations that could go on your like hero template or whatever they call it, your little. Change the flag that's next to your hero portrait and everything. There's so
Yeah,
many
there's
different
a lot
little
they
things they
could
could
do.
do like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. Do you know if it's going to count towards like your daily wins or anything, or
I
is it straight
don't know
up?
if they've said anything 100% about that, but usually single player does not count towards quests.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
I
it
would-
usually doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what, if anything, Dungeon Run can actually do for you, aside from just be fun.
Yeah. But hey, being fun's cool.
But I mean, fun is fun.
Yes.
So
Yeah, as
I
long
do
as it's
enjoy
fun enough,
fun.
I'm fine with it. But maybe that's something they could look into for the future, is just more like vanity, items
Yeah.
and change.
yeah, I mean, if there was a new hero or new card back or something at the end of, if you beat a dungeon run or whatever, I don't know, or got a certain number of wins. I don't know if it's going to be like an infinite sort of thing, and then you go till you lose or whatever. But
Right.
something like that would be cool.
Definitely, I agree. But before we get too far down the rabbit hole of what's coming in the new set, there's a couple other things that we haven't gotten a chance to talk about yet. We already mentioned the Golden Pack, which is something they gave out to Twitch Prime subscribers, and it's a classic pack that's just full of golden cards, which is really cool. I really like the idea of that, because gold cards are really hard to come by, even common ones.
Yeah.
So,
Here we go, plugging Twitch Prime again.
yeah, I know, right? They're really pushing this Twitch Prime thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another cool thing that they've been talking about recently is that they are internally discussing 27 new cards that they've created, only to be used in Arena. And they're not going to implement all of those cards. They're kind of doing like this internal voting process on which cards are going to get included. And it's not going to be a permanent thing either when they launch these cards. It's going to be like a new Arena event like we saw with the Hallow's End, and you could dual class. I think that's super cool. I really like what they're doing with Arena, and like starting to almost implement this Tavern Brawl element to it, where week to week you're not sure if it's going to be regular Arena or something new.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool to add flavor to it and everything. And it's interesting that it's temporary, because it almost seems like it's always seemed like they're so unhappy with the way Arena has been unfolding for people, and they keep making all these crazy tiny hidden tweaks and all this. So I wouldn't even be surprised if they were like trying to put in some Arena only cards that were permanently in Arena. But temporary arenas are a cool idea. Like the Hallow's End one was awesome.
Yeah, that was so much fun.
So yeah, I mean, this, unless you just really hate fun, this could be a really cool thing.
Right. Well, what's popped into my head, like seeing them do so much with Arena that they have been doing, is wondering if this is all just kind of like live testing. They would never come out and really say that, but Hearthstone doesn't have like a public test realm or anything like that.
Right.
So I'm wondering if we're moving possibly a little bit closer to having more permanent options for Arena.
Right.
That button that could just, instead of saying Arena, just say Limited or something else. And once you get inside that option, just like you do when you go into single player, you can choose Naxxramas, Lich King, any adventure you've purchased. There would just be different modes that you could choose from inside Arena, or inside whatever they renamed that button, which would be really cool. So maybe they're testing. Okay, we tested having you be able to draft from 2 classes. Now we're going to move on and test how the game would play out if we have cards that we create just for Arena to diversify that experience from Standard and Wild. So I like the direction that this could be going.
Yeah, that's an interesting theory. I mean, that's totally something that they might be trying to do, and I think it would be fun if the Arena button was changed to Limited or something. I mean, limit. Arena is a far sexier word than Limited.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Whatever. Like you could go in and be like, I want to do a sealed draft, and here's your pile of cards, choose 30, and
the developers are well aware that people have been asking for more options like this since the beginning, so hopefully they've pretty much said that sealed isn't really going to work for this game, but it's cool to see them experimenting with other ideas.
Yeah, for sure. This is only good in my eyes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I could see some people who like, because there are people that basically only play Arena.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
this might be weird for them, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The way I see Arena is it's always an even playing field. Both players are always subject to any change they make, so it's always fair for both people equally.
Right.
So no one's getting screwed over here.
Mm-hmm. Not necessarily, but I could definitely see the argument, that some streamers in the past have made that Arena has become this like experimental ground, and it's like not consistent. If you fancy yourself an Arena player, like we do standard players, and all of a sudden they were like, okay, we're gonna change standard next week, and it's just gonna be different for a week.
Yeah.
That would be a little weird. I mean, there's a little bit, I guess you could say a little bit more at stake with the HCT points and everything that you can get by high legend finishes and stuff. But people also compete for top tier, whatever you call it, scoreboard lists for Arena. So it is interesting.
I guess at the end of the day, the game is standard. Like that's kind of ultimately what you're working toward. I mean, doing arenas is more about the rewards than it is about playing.
Right.
I mean, obviously, it's still Hearthstone, so if you like Hearthstone, it's still fun.
Yeah.
But you could spend 100 gold on a pack, or you could spend 150 and get to the arena and potentially earn more than that.
Right.
So it's arena's not like a format. It's just like it's gambling,
No, I understand, and I definitely think that's what they intended probably when they implemented it, but there are people who really just want to play Arena. I mean,
and I get that.
Some of the top streamers, they've got to be careful with how nuts they go with it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I could definitely see people getting a little tilted about this, but I mean, I forgot what was my train of thought here. If you like Arena, then this could be super weird.
Yeah, it could be weird, or you could be looking forward to it. I mean, I always look forward to new stuff, but it does shake up the consistency of the format.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get back to talking about some Kobolds and Catacombs. So, we always like to bring up like how what they do in Hearthstone ties into the game that Hearthstone was branched off from, which is World of Warcraft. So, we've already seen several Kobolds in this game. So they've already been like kind of introduced, like what they are, their flair. They're these little, I don't even know what kind of creatures you'd call them. They're like,
I think they're rat.
Yeah, rats. Yeah, I guess like rats. But I always thought of them as like sort of reptilian a little bit too. They have like weird scaly stuff going on. But they're like these humanoid. I hesitate to say intelligent rat creatures. That live in caves. But the hilarious thing about them is, like, normally a fantasy creature that lives in a cave would just have night vision, right? Well, they can't see in the dark, just like humans or anything can't. So they walk around with actual lit candles strapped to their heads. And, Kobold, Geomancer, and all that stuff. When you play them, they always say, take candle. Because they love their candles so much, because if they lose it, then they can't see anymore.
Yeah, they're screwed.
Yeah. I have a little thing pulled up here actually from WoW Wikia that's just talking about kobolds in general, like how their race is viewed in the game World of Warcraft. It says kobolds are rat-like humanoids. They dwell in underground tunnels and spend their lives mining primarily for gold. So that's where you get like that whole gold tie-in and the treasure thing. It makes sense to have kobolds. They are cowardly, cringing folk who live in fear of larger races and rarely venture outside their tunnels. So they actually kind of end up being like murlocs in a sense, because they won't ever confront anything alone. When you go into a kobold cave in World of Warcraft, you are always going to be fighting like 3 or 4 of these things at once.
Yeah.
And they actually will run away from you if they're separated from others. Like if you kill 3 of them and there's one left, he's going to start booking it to try to find more friends.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see how they try to implement having more kobolds in, because so far they basically just function as spell power increasers.
Yeah, I think they all. I mean, how many even are there? 2?
Yeah, Kobold Geomancer, Evolved Kobold, and I really can't think of any. Yeah.
There's a snow one.
Oh, the Snowbolt. Yeah, and he's a 2/6.
Snowbolt.
Also does the
Yeah.
spell damage plus. Yeah, the Snowbolts, they call them that if they live in Northrend, which is the
Yeah,
the
that's
Lich
right.
King
Yeah,
expansion. Yeah,
Northrend
so-
had snowbolts. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting to have a set that focuses so much on these little things enough to have it like as part of the name of the expansion.
Yeah.
Like, that was a little bit shocking to me because I don't think World of Warcraft kobolds, even less so than I would with
Yeah.
Murlocs.
No one
Yeah.
really gives a shit about kobolds.
Yeah. But it is
But
an
I
interesting
also
way.
think that a big part of naming it that was just to be a play on Dungeons and Dragons,
Yeah,
So
I do
it's
think so.
Kobolds and Catacombs.
Yeah.
But and that because that's where the roots of this expansion are coming from. It's like classic RPGs, dungeon crawling, and all that stuff.
Definitely, yeah, and you can already see that flavor coming through the cards, which we're going to talk about as we go through them. Baron the Fox obviously has already been released. If you had a BlizzCon, if you went to BlizzCon or had a virtual ticket, you got a golden Marin. If you were just like the rest of us, you got a regular Marin. But I still think it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
And he's currently, interestingly enough, he's currently an uncraftable card. Even though, you have him, he's usable if you've logged in. But I wonder if that's ever going to change. If they're going to eventually stop offering him for free and then he becomes a craftable card.
And in turn, you can just disenchant your Marin.
Exactly, because it remains to be seen if he's, even going to be good. And it would be kind of weird if you just, especially if you went to BlizzCon, you have this golden legendary that you're just not allowed to disenchant, but you don't want to use it. That would be kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like someday they would. Can you disenchant Cthulhu?
I really don't know.
I never looked.
We're going to have to test that later.
Yeah.
I feel like you can. And, I mean, you can also disenchant and craft anything from adventures that are no longer available.
Well,
So,
yeah, because they're no longer available. So, like,
yeah.
yeah. So, maybe in the future.
When the Marin promo to get him for free ends, that's when I would figure he would become a craftable and therefore a disenchantable card.
Yeah.
But we also found out that legendaries in this set are going to be weapons for every class. I think there's going to be a weapon and probably also a minion for every class. And that is pretty cool to me because I've always thought, weapon-wielding classes like Paladin and Hunter are not the only ones that equip weapons in World of Warcraft. You've got wands and staves and all kinds of stuff. So I've always wanted to see that implemented, and they're doing it in a really interesting way that we're going to look at as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's just start going through these cards.
Yeah, let's do it.
Up first, Marin. We were just talking about him. Marin the Fox. So he's an 8-mana 6/6. Battle Cry, summon a 0/8 treasure chest for your opponent. And it just says, break it for awesome loot. And then right next to it, you've got the Master Chest, which is a 3-mana 0/8. And Death Rattles to give your opponent a fantastic treasure. So right off the bat, there's already a whole bunch of things I could see just posing a problem if you're trying to run Marin and then break this chest. He's 8 mana. I mean, unless you have the board presence to break it immediately on the turn that you play him, you're looking at an expensive combo to try to kill it in the same turn with Crazed Alchemists, or you're looking at passing the turn while your opponent has this chest and letting them do what they will with it. Which there are a lot of classes that could at least neutralize it with silence or something like that, if not actually make it into a threat for their own board, which is a little scary. But let's see what you what you get for going through this. There's 4 different things that you can get.
Crazy.
Yeah, and they are absolutely insane. So you've got Toland's Goblet. All of these cost 3 mana. It's a spell to draw a card and fill your hand with copies of it. So, I mean, that's up to, 9 cards you're drawing there? Yeah. I mean, probably not going to have an empty hand when you use it, but that's insane.
Yeah. You're going to have as empty a hand as you can when you use it. Yeah,
absolutely. And, I mean, you hit a great card with that, and, I mean, that's insane value. That's what basically all these are giving you is insane value. You've got Zerog's Crown, which is discover a legendary minion and summon 2 copies of it. You don't even get 2 copies of it in your hand. You just right onto the board.
For 3 mana.
Yeah, and you get to discover it, so you get to cut down a lot of that RNG you're getting, Nat Pagel or something.
Yeah.
The Golden Kobold is the only minion reward, which is a throwback to, of course, Elise Starseeker and the Golden Monkey thing. It's a 3-mana 6/6 taunt, which is exactly what the Golden Monkey was. But instead of replacing your whole deck with legendaries, it just replaces your hand with legendaries. So,
which might be better.
It's potentially. I mean, if you want to, if there's still cards in your deck you want to draw into and not have them transformed, definitely. Yeah.
It only worked for certain archetypes to turn your whole deck into legendaries, particularly warrior.
Yeah, because they had a bunch of cycle they didn't want to draw into after a certain point. So yeah. And then last up, you have Wondrous Wand, which is 3 mana, draw 3 cards, they cost 0. Which
is pretty messed up.
It's pretty messed up. That one is the most interesting to me because it's not necessarily like adding value to your deck because you're just getting your own cards out, but it's letting you make these incredible tempo plays with having these 0-cost spells, and of course card draw is amazing.
Yeah, it's still insane. Like they're all, I can't like even decide what's actually. I think Golden Kobold is the worst one.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. I mean, a 3-mana 6/6 taunt though, like the body itself, you can't.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
but like compare that to Zarog's Crown, discover legendary minion, summon 2 copies of it.
Yeah,
that's less RNG and more immediate board presence.
Definitely,
potentially, probably.
Yeah, I honestly don't even think there's an argument for saying any of these is bad in any way. No. Each of them is going to function better for a different archetype, right? Which kind of goes back to cards like Ysera and Lich King. There's going to be a best option for you when you break the chest, but you're not going to be able to ensure that you get that one. But at least with this one, unlike Lich King, the variance isn't so high that you're going to get actually a dead card. You know, like, I always get that one Army of the Dead or whatever every time off Lich King, and I feel like that's the worst one, at least for decks I always use. I'm like, let me just burn all my good cards and maybe get some crappy minions. At least with this one, you're always going to be able to use something. But is the Marin thing too hard to pull off? And paying 8 mana for 6/6? I don't know. It might be.
Yeah. No, it remains to be seen. I mean, people are going to come up with their tricks, you know, to make it work.
Yeah.
Rogues could shadow cast him back to their hand and get another chest out there.
Absolutely, or shadow step. Yeah, a lot of bounce effects, definitely.
Yeah. It's if you can kill. I mean, not every class is going to be able. Not every class and not every deck is going to be able to turn the chest into something worthwhile for them, unless they're running like Defender of Argus or something. And even then, you still just need to deal 8 damage, and then you get the reward.
Yeah.
So really, silencing it is the only option.
You mean as far as deterring them from getting the
treasure? Yeah.
Oh, there are actually a lot of things that an opponent could use to make this a bad thing for you. Evolve, Thrall Deathseer. I mean, Shaman's got all kinds of tech against this.
Evolving it totally.
Yeah, priests, even if they don't have the silence, they could inner fire this and run an 8/8 into your face. I mean, you know, if provided the deck was running inner fire, maybe specifically for this. Warlocks have treachery. They could give you the chest, and then when they break it, they get the treasure. There's a lot of different.
This actually gives treachery a use.
Yeah. And I feel like it's so easily teched against that even if it actually picked up in like it, you know, it's a very powerful card, and if people started using it a lot, people would just tech in cards to deal with him. And you know, he doesn't come down until turn 8. You have plenty of time to try to draw into your answers for the chest. So I really feel like the best deck to take advantage of this is one that's going to reliably have 8 damage on board, ready to go. Take this thing out before you even pass it back. Because passing it back could be catastrophic.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's, you know, if he's really good and he's running rampant, then teching will happen.
Yep.
And, you know, if he's only there every now and then, maybe that might be the best for Marin the Fox, you know, if he's there sometimes, you're not teching for him, but if he shows up and you can pull it off, then it's really good.
Yeah. Tentatively, I'd give him about a 3-star, 3 out of 5. Like, just potential. There's potential there for this to work with certain decks.
Yeah. I would probably also say 3.
All right, so moving on, we have another neutral card here. It's a epic minion, Carnivorous Cube, 5 mana, 4/6, Battle Cry, destroy a friendly minion, Death Rattle, summon 2 copies of it. So, obviously, used on a Death Rattle minion, this card is pretty insane.
Yeah.
A card that you want to kill anyway, even if it's something kind of low value like a Crystalline Oracle or something. You get that 1 card, then when he's finally removed, then you get 2 more.
Yeah, I mean, 5 mana, 4/6 isn't bad stats.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hit a good Death Rattle with it, that's not even a bad thing. And then, he's prone to silence, but aside from that, he's packed with value.
Definitely. I could definitely see this finding a home in certain decks. I always immediately think of Priest. Rogue has some pretty decent Death Rattle minions that you'd want to hit with this. And, you've always got the eggs. We have the Devilsaur egg that's available right now. The
eggs would be good.
Egg,
good to hit, and then you get 2 eggs when he dies, which, if it's the right kind of deck, you can still exploit that. So
yeah. I mean, this isn't going to be like a meta-defining card at all, I don't think. You're not going to be hearing people like, man, Carnivorous Cube needs to get nerfed, but I could definitely see it, at least seeing some experimental play in some decks with heavy Death Rattle, and, goes really well with N'Zoth in the brief period of time when they're going to coexist with each other.
Is he smoking a cigarette?
I don't think so. He has a mace in his mouth.
Oh, it's a mace.
Yeah, he has a mace in his mouth. Yeah, and he's got a kobold inside him, so he's...
Oh, yeah, look at that. So he's a reference to the gelatinous cube monster from D&D.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which we're going to see a lot of that kind of D&D, munchkin, dungeon crawl sort of thing.
Yeah, this is like kind of one of the first slime-based monsters we've seen that doesn't just destroy a weapon. So
yeah, that's true.
That's pretty cool. All right, and last up for neutral cards, we have a common here, Guild Recruiter, 5 mana, 2/4, Battle Cry, recruit a minion that costs 4 or less. It's pretty much a common card. It's nothing super crazy about it unless it finds its way into a deck that wants to summon a specific card or two from this.
Yeah.
With high reliability.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly understated for 5 mana. And if you guys don't know how recruit works, because it's not really explained on the card, recruit summons a random minion from out of your deck, and in this case, it's got to be 4 mana or less. So it basically patches the pirates them out of your deck. So it's not like Discover where you get a choice. It's going to be random. And, if your deck's full of 1, 2, 3, 4 mana minions, then, this could pull out a 2/3 or something and end up being kind of lackluster. So yeah, this is only really going to fit somewhere where you're pretty reliably guaranteed to get a specific target.
Right, and getting it out in addition to this, or just having this as almost like extra copies of that card is basically why you're using it. So you get a higher chance to get that on board. Nothing comes to mind to me immediately. Like the only thing I can really think of is what's it called? For the War Chief, the 4/3 charge.
He'd be good.
The warrior card. Just get it out for charge damage.
Any deck running that's running N'Zoth's First Mate, Patches the Pirate, Bloodsail Raider, fucking South Sea Captain. Like, there's so many. Yeah. I mean, pulling out a South Sea Captain wouldn't be bad. But there's just so many targets that it seems combo-y. If it sees play at all, it's going to be because it's specifically pulling something out.
Yes, no, definitely. I'm just saying, like, maybe in a little bit more, not a pirate warrior deck, a deck that's maybe heavy on weapons or something, and trying to face you down in other ways. You could control what comes out with this a little bit more. Charge is always just a great thing to get on board.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
All right. Yeah, it's interesting. Like they've been doing a good job with commons lately. You see commons popping into decks because they do something really specific and kind of cool. So,
Like
I like
Bone Mare.
yes, exactly.
Really specific.
Get a shitload of stats on the board.
Make a minion fucking busted.
All right. Up next, we have the one card from Druid that's been revealed. It is an example of another mechanic that's being introduced, which is where you can upgrade cards. I don't know if there's going to be minions that upgrade, but so far I think we've only seen spells like this one. So it starts out as a 1 mana, deal 2 damage to a minion. It's not bad. We've seen 1 mana deal 2 damage to a minion that doesn't upgrade before. We have Holy Smite in Priest. You've got Arcane Shot in Hunter. So, it's a great anti-aggression early card. If you don't need to use it, all you have to do is gain 3 armor to upgrade it. I mean, that's 3 hero powers or one of the many Druid cards that gives you armor.
So many.
And if you do gain the 3 armor while this is in your hand, it becomes Jasper Spellstone, which is the one in the middle there. It says deal 4 damage to a minion. And also still for 1 mana. So now you're getting a lot of great value already. And if you manage to hold that until you upgrade it one more time by gaining another 3 armor, then you get a truly insane card, which is the Greater Jasper Spellstone. 1 mana, deal 6 damage to a minion.
Yep. So, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Obviously, this can't go face, so you
No.
are using it for removal. But the longer you get to keep it, the more value you get from the minion that you get to kill with it.
I mean, Druid is a class that historically has benefited a lot from having really cheap spells and playing a lot of spells. Mm-hmm. So, having this free, insane removal for, not free, but 1 mana, insane removal, is just never a bad thing. Mm-hmm. And, obviously I think this is something that's going to go in a more control-oriented Druid deck. We might see cards like Claw and Bite, and what are those the ones that are like...
There's so many now, It's Claw, Bite, Feral Rage, Gnash. Yeah, there's a bunch.
So, and I don't... You see Feral Rage a good bit, but I don't feel
Scales.
like you see... Earthen Scales. I don't feel like you see Claw, Bite, or Gnash like that often, and I always found that strange because I feel like they're removal in their own right. So this might give cards like that more usage.
Definitely.
And
we see most Druid decks using Wrath. And you can't draw a card off of this, but it's potentially something that you could run alongside Wrath, or even maybe instead.
I mean, the fact that it's a Holy Smite straight out of the box is good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Definitely. It only gets better. Like, how hard is it to gain 3 armor? How hard is it to gain 6 armor for a Druid? You can do it in 1 turn.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I think this will see play. This card seems pretty crazy.
Yeah, I would have to say that I agree. I'd probably give it like 4.
Yeah, I give it a 4.
All right. Up next, we have a Hunter spell, epic spell, called Crushing Walls. 7 mana, destroy your opponent's left and rightmost minions. So this is another interesting positioning card. They keep kind of sneaking these cards in there that make you think twice about where to put your minions. Mm-hmm. At 7 mana, is this good enough to run? I'm wondering.
I think so. It's gonna hit harder against control, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I see this as a mid-range answer to control decks who only have 1 or 2 minions that are just ruining your day.
Right.
Because against aggro, it's like, what, you got a 2/1 and a 1/2, and
mm-hmm.
For 7 mana, that's terrible.
But even big heavy control decks still run a bunch of stuff. Like, just take Highlander Priest for example. You've got Radiant Elemental and all those little, like, I mean, they're all really good cards still, but not necessarily a lot of value paying 7 mana to kill them. Like Northstar Cleric, Crystalline Oracle, like all these little things. Yeah. So
I honestly don't see it seeing play.
I honestly don't either. I would have to give this probably a 2 star. Yeah. I really don't see this.
Yeah, I'd give it a 2.
This it's just too much mana for too little choice on your end. I mean, you can be trying to position the board in a way that when you have 7 mana, this is good. But you're never going to be 100% guaranteed of that. You've got Death Rattle minions, you got little minions, Fireflies, and stuff that are just going to come down and totally destroy any chance of this card being good.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially you can counterplay it so well if you're
Yes.
Expecting it. So
definitely.
Yeah.
All
Probably.
right. What?
Probably it might even be a 1.
It might be.
Might even be a 1-star.
I'll stick with 2 for now, but all right, so up next, another Hunter card. It's a new secret for Hunter called Wandering Monster. It's 2 mana, of course. When an enemy attacks your hero, summon a 3-cost minion as the new target. So this is basically Noble Sacrifice beefed up a little bit and given to Hunter. Because it has to attack your... It's not exactly Noble Sacrifice because they have to attack your hero to trigger it, whereas Noble Sac will trigger when a minion's attacked as well.
That's true, yeah.
But a 3-cost minion... 3-cost minions are pretty good. You've got stats up to 3/4. There's even the Frost Rider that's a 4/4, which would probably be one of the best pulls.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you've got some Death Rattles in there. You've got the Shallow Gravedigger. You can get some decent value off of this.
Sure. No, I agree. I think this is something that really peters off later in the game.
Yeah.
Because for 2 mana, having your opponent use their turn 2 or turn 3 minion to trigger this is generally going to be good. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, it's just kind of like a body that is getting sacrificed. And it's so RNG.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of 3-drops in the game.
There's so many things that could come out. So it could be something cool with Death Rattle, or it could just be some absolute crap.
Yeah. I think ultimately the power level of this card will be determined by the 3-drop pool after all the rest of these cards get revealed, and the percentage chance of it being something beneficial.
Definitely.
Yeah.
This is also a reference to Munchkin. If anybody's played Munchkin,
yeah.
Wandering Monster it's a card that lets you just throw a monster card out from your hand at your opponent, and they have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So
you're definitely seeing that like dungeon crawly flavor worked into the cards.
Absolutely.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd probably give it a 3.
Yeah, I would have to say, just like not even knowing what the final pool of 3-drop cards is gonna be, it's really hard to say. So yeah, 3 sounds about right.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to Mage, we have their legendary weapon already revealed, which is called Aluneth. 6 mana, 0 attack, 3 durability. At the end of your turn, draw 3 cards. And we looked into it, and that does not decrease the durability of the weapon, so it's not limited. When you have this equipped, you will draw 1 card at the beginning of your turn and 3 cards at the end every turn.
It's pretty whack.
Definitely. Obviously, there's a ton of potential there. I mean, card advantage is a huge name of this game, but there is such a thing as too much of a good thing.
It's very true.
And this is right on the line there, where it's not really clear if there's going to be a Mage deck that can fully take advantage of this before just fatiguing.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, and I feel like this is more of a top of your curve aggro card. Or burn, Mage doesn't really aggro like other classes, but burn Mage, to where you're just spending the whole game just flinging slush balls at your opponent's face, and this is your reload, and 4 cards every turn. You're like Frostbolt, Fireball, Flame Geyser, whatever comes out in this expansion. So this could generate enough. Just give you your finisher basically.
Yeah, we'll let you cycle through to that last bit of burn, that last bit of reach that you need. Yeah, that's definitely what I see it for too.
Freeze Mage, and you draw Alexstrasza and an Antonitis and something, and you're like, well, I can't play these yet. And the next turn you draw again, and then you start burning cards because everything you're running. So you got Pyroblasts in your hand.
Yeah.
So I don't think Control can deal with drawing 4 cards every turn.
No, definitely not. This might honestly be the top of your curve if you put it in a deck.
Yeah.
Because you need to be cast, like, as soon as this comes down, you need to be playing more than one card a turn, or you're going to easily fill your hand, and then you're going to easily be in fatigue.
Yeah,
so
you need to play several cards a turn.
Exactly. So, like, just a list, just like a couple cards for a list that I think of right off the top of my head is, Mana Worm, Arcane Missiles, Frostbolt, all the cheap burn that, on its own isn't, like, high enough value to really make a viable deck right now. But with this, could piece it together.
For sure.
This would have been really good with Forgotten Torch, especially because the Torch gets shuffled back in. So maybe we'll see something like that that'll take advantage of this massive amount of card draw. But once this comes down, I mean, obviously with the legendary weapons, we're potentially looking at a lot of decks teching weapon destruction. So it's really nice that you get at least the 3 cards, but because, it triggers at the end of your turn. So you're always going to get it. But you're always going to have to be really careful about, is your opponent just going to let it stay on and let you die of fatigue? So.
Yeah. I mean, if you didn't build your deck with that in mind, then you could definitely fall victim to this thing's bounty.
This is definitely Hearthstone's new number 1 worst card to have as the last card in your deck. So,
like, oh boy.
I definitely think it's got potential. I think people are going to experiment with it, but I'm just not sure if it's going to pull it off. So, are we doing half stars? Because I feel like I really want to give this 3.5.
Hey, it's our show.
It's our show, so we're doing it 3.5. It's got potential.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 3.
Okay. All right.
As much as I want a straight up burn mage deck to work, I don't just. It never happens, so...
Yeah, this could get it there, though. This could definitely get it there.
This could get it there.
All right. Up next, we have another legendary weapon. They've revealed the legendary weapon for Priest, which kind of reads more like a legendary weapon for Rogue. It says... It's called Dragon Soul, and it's a 3 mana, again, 0 attack, 3 durability, just like Alaneth. And it says, after you cast 3 spells in 1 turn... summon a 5/5 dragon, and the dragon, it's a dragon spirit there, which does have the dragon tribe. You can see it right there. It's a really cool looking card. It looks like a bronze dragon kind of thing. Super weird direction for Priest. I feel like they just keep throwing Priest like whole new curveballs. It's like this has never been anything that Priest has ever strived to do.
Like, I don't know, fucking try this.
Yeah, is cast a whole bunch of spells in 1 turn. Now, obviously, we've seen a lot of Priests doing this with the Lyra Radiant Elemental combo. So, I don't know if they just really like that combo, and they're like, let's reward that.
It's not usually until you're in Anduin mode that you're doing that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess if Lyra's out, you have no reason not to cast a spell at that point. But, when you're Shadow Reaper Anduin, you're refreshing your hero power too, so that's even... more. So it's almost like they're giving that combo just more pieces, so it's not dependent on, like, you got to get these 3. Maybe if you get 3 of the 4, then you'll be set.
Yeah. I don't think it necessarily has to only be used in the Highlander deck. Obviously, if you can use duplicates, then you can use duplicate cheap spells and duplicate Radiant Elementals and everything to enable this combo further. So, if you're able to, just keep discovering powered shields off Shadow Visions or even extra copies of Shadow Visions, this is going to get crazy as far as how many of these dragons that you could potentially make in 1 turn.
It almost seems like you could pull off some aggressive play with this sort of thing. If you had your card draw, you had your cycle game pretty strong. And you had lots of cards that were giving you spells like Radiant Elemental, Crystal and Oracle?
Well, Crystal and Oracle gives you a card from your opponent's deck. Yeah. So it could be a spell, it could not be.
Yeah, okay, true. Yeah. This seems like it's going to be tough to pull off consistently.
I think it's a problem of consistency because
you run out. I mean, you're going to run out of spells. Like, I don't know, Rogue's the only one that can do enough tricky shit to, like, always have multiple spells to cast every turn.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that there is some potential there for it, though. There's already kind of this deck list I've seen a few times that tries to be an aggressive priest. It plays the Shadow Ascendant, which is actually a really crazy card, and tries to stick a bunch of early minions and stuff. And I feel like this could go well with that. Basically, you need to use this card the way that you used to play Tempo Mage when Flamewaker was a thing. Because you have to sit there and not use these cards, but that's a little bit harder for priests because priests cards have like a window of time when they're really good. You don't want to sit there and hold a Potion of Madness until turn 6 because there might not even be a target for it. And then using Power Word Shields gives you the board early because your minions can trade more effectively, and it's just interesting.
Yeah. I'd probably say like 2.5.
2.5? Oh, I'm gonna give it I'm gonna at least give it a 3. Yeah, give it a 3. I think that
it seems a little worse than the mage one to me.
Really? I feel like there is a deck list that's gonna be able to use this. I just don't know how consistent it's gonna be.
Yeah, and if it does, it's gonna be spooky.
It is, and I love that they're dragons. That's perfect because Dragonfire Potion, you can do that safely after you make this whole huge board. So it's very nice.
Yeah.
All right, up next, we have Unidentified Elixir, also a priest card. This is a common spell. 3 mana to give a minion +2/+2, and kind of some very vague text here. Gains a bonus effect in your hand. So what that means is when you draw this card, it's going to have one of these 4 extra abilities randomly assigned to it. And it will change the name of what the elixir actually is. So you have Elixir of Hope, which is they all are going to give it +2/+2. So the only thing that changes is the second affix. And this one gives Death Rattle. Return this minion to your hand. So that's basically the Getaway Kodo effect.
Yeah.
Stamped right onto a minion. Yeah. Which I think this is far and away the best one. Very
good. Like on the right target, that is just stupid.
Yeah. It makes it, obviously it's weak to silence and transform effects, but it makes a minion into a threat that needs to be dealt with, and then if you do it, it returns to your hand. You're playing priest, it probably gives you value when you play it again. So that's pretty cool. I really like that.
Yeah.
The second one, I kind of put these in order, or at least my order of how I think their power level compares. The next one up is Elixir of Shadows, which summons a 1/1 copy of the minion that you target with the +2/+2. So obviously this is like a Mirage Caller type effect. You probably want to be hitting something with Death Rattle with this, and getting an extra copy of it. It works with the quest. It works with just getting extra value off of cards like Crystalline Oracle, or even drawing extra cards if you can with a duplicated Northshire Cleric, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, priest benefits more than a lot of classes from summoning copies of their minions. There's a lot of good Death Rattle priest cards, a lot of priest cards that just have good abilities like Northshire Cleric. So this one's definitely more deck construction dependent.
Yeah,
to be good, but it has the potential to be very, very good.
Definitely. Elixir of Purity is probably just the most solid on-board one, which is giving +2/+2 plus Divine Shield. Makes the minion super sticky, super tanky, and opens it up for some really decent trading with the Divine Shield.
It's definitely the most reliable one of the 4.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, I put this as the least effective potion, the Elixir of Life, which gives it +2/+2 and Lifesteal. Obviously, this could come down and really save your ass. If you have a minion that gives you a big swing as far as health return and you're kind of low. But, I mean, you're already a priest. You've got access to lesser heal, other heal effects.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make the minion itself any better. It's just
it doesn't affect the board.
Yes, exactly.
As much as the others, so.
So, Lifesteal is a decent mechanic, and it could come out and really help you, but not as much, especially if you're playing this on curve, on like a 2-drop or something that you played. This is not the one that you're really going to want to see, because you haven't even really taken that much damage at this point.
Yeah, so. I mean, that 2/2 Divine Shield outshines 2/2 Lifesteal just far and beyond.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about it. If your opponent had a 2/2 lifesteal and you had a 2/2 divine shield, you just trade and
They
guess
wouldn't
what? They
even
don't
gain
have.
any health.
Yeah, yeah, they wouldn't gain health.
Yeah.
You still have a 2/2. So yeah.
Yeah. So as far
I think
as
this card is good. I mean, Priest likes buffing. Priest always has a decent amount of buffing options, and this is just going to be the new flavor.
the new flavor,
The fact that you're not going to reliably get the 1/1 copy one means you're not going to necessarily build a deck around doing that. But Priest in general kind of works well with that.
yeah, definitely.
So this for 3 mana. I mean, I don't know what other buffs cost 3 mana. Was
Well,
was
Velen's
Velen's
Chosen back in the day was
3?
much better than this. Yeah,
2+2+4 and
spell damage.
+1.
Yeah. But I mean
It's-
that's pretty agreed upon as a broken card, just in general.
I think that's better than the lifesteal one, and yeah, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much. I mean, unless you manage to hit like a very prime target with like the Death Rattle to return it to your hand.
So I mean, compared to Velen's Chosen, this is like comparable, maybe a little less good.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's not as good as Velen's. But it definitely, if there's gonna be a good deck that uses that kind of weird aggressive priest, swarm tactic with like Shadow Ascendant and stuff, I think this would be pretty decent in that deck.
Yeah.
To try to establish a tough early board to deal with.
Yeah, and this is kind of also a nod to that RPG trope of finding items that aren't identified when you find them.
Yeah.
And then they get identified, and you're like, oh, that's what it does. And also just elixirs themselves are a very classic RPG sort of, item.
Definitely. Yeah, if any of you guys have played a roguelike game in the past, there's so many of them out there. This is a huge thing. You can't figure out what the potion is until you try it, and it might heal you or set you on fire or whatever. But luckily these are all good. So
that would be interesting if you didn't know what it did until you used it.
Right, but it does say that it reveals it in your hand. It says gains a bonus effect in your hand. So I'm assuming that you will know what it is before you play it.
It'd be pretty whack if you didn't.
It would be pretty whack. I think the bonuses would have to be a little higher at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a cool card. I don't think it's like a given that it's gonna see play. But if I like the whole Shadow Ascendant thing. I think that's a really cool card to be able to use, and I think that this helps that kind of deck archetype. So, I don't know. Hopefully, I'll give it a 3.
Yeah, I would say 3 is about right.
All right. So moving on, we have one Paladin card revealed, and it's a common minion called the Dry Gulch Jailer. It's a 2-mana 1/1. Death Rattle, add 3 Silverhand Recruits to your hand.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of this. I mean, the only thing that really pops into my head right away is hand buff, like enabling a good Smuggler's Run or...
Yeah, this could definitely play off of hand buff. Seems like they keep trying to fix hand buff.
Yeah, but they're just like
I guess
not quite
so
hitting
far
it.
it's better than it's ever been in recent months.
Yeah.
So there's that. But yeah, so you get 3 1-mana 1/1s in your hand, and this works for something like Steward of Darkshire. So they would come out as 1/1 Divine Shields.
Right.
So they'd come out as decent minions.
They come out as Argent Squires.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
and it works off anything that benefits playing a lot of, anything that triggers off of playing a minion. It's going to benefit there because you've got all these cheap dudes. You could do a pretty nasty Sunkeeper Tarim play with all these little guys.
So you are definitely talking about either just hoping to stick minions or having to do these with these really high mana cost combos.
Yeah, so this guy doesn't seem that great to me.
He really throws off your curve really badly because
you can't even run Keleseth.
Yeah, exactly. He really throws it off badly because a lot of Paladin decks try to stick minions on curve that are very good. You've got the Righteous Protector and stuff. I mean, just comparing a 1-mana 1/1 Divine Shield Taunt to a 2-mana 1/1. that doesn't even give you anything additional on the board right away. And then how are you going to be playing these Silverhand recruits if you're trying to hit curve? You know,
Exactly.
play a 3-mana, play a 3-drop on 3, a 4-drop on 4. I just don't see when they come into play.
The best you could hope for is, I guess, like filling out your curve and the fact that Paladin has good buffing potential, and a lot of times you struggle to have a body if your opponent's staying really on top of removing your stuff, and they know trying to buff your minions, and if you just constantly have these little piss ants you can throw out, and, you know, they have to invest in removing them, or else it's going to get kingsed and, you know, wreck their face.
Right.
So you know, maybe this guy will surprise us.
Maybe.
But I'm kind of not really seeing it.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing it either. I'm going to go ahead and give this a 1. I'm going to go out on a limb here.
I'm going to say 2.
Okay. Really don't think that that this guy is going to see the light of day. All right, moving on to Rogue. We have a common minion, the Kobold Illusionist. 4-mana, 3/3. Death Rattle, summon a 1/1 copy of a minion from your hand. So... this is kind of like a reverse Shadowcaster type effect. Shadowcaster picks a minion in play and sends it to your hand with a battle cry. This picks a minion in your hand and puts it into play with a death rattle. So
yeah,
I don't think that this is very good.
Yeah, I mean, he's 4 mana for 4/4 stats. Ultimately, unless you're building around it so that something, I don't know, Deathwing Dragonlord comes out, and then all your dragons come out.
I mean, you've got a couple of decent Death Rattle minions. You got Shares and Corpse Flower, which would be an interesting one to use with this.
Oh yeah, Sharazin would be a cool one.
Yeah, after it died as a 1/1, it would turn into the seed of itself, and then when you resurrect it, it would be its full 4/3 body.
The Jade Swarmer would be good.
Yeah, it would be good, but I don't think that that's a combo that would be like worth using this in. There's easier ways that Rogue has to copy particular minions. This could just copy the SI in your hand, you know, or whatever's going on in there. I don't like this one. I think this is pretty bad.
Yeah, I think it's pretty bad too. I think there's, you know, I never want to sell Rogue short.
I gotta be careful with Rogue in particular.
When you were like, Caverns Below, that's not going to see play.
Yeah. Well, hey, I ended up being right in the long run.
Yeah, that's true.
After it got nerfed.
But I'd probably give this guy. I'd give him a 2, just because I'm wary of Rogue shenanigans.
I'm gonna join you in this 2 slot there, but really, it's just too much RNG for something like this. You know, that's what my brain says to me.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, up next we have one card from Shaman, which is another one of those upgrade cards. And you know what? I just realized I'm going to have to pull the information for what this upgrades into, because I don't have the extra cards.
It's pretty simple. It's just the next version summons 2 copies, the next version summons 3 copies. Yeah.
So is it summoning it randomly from...
No, it's like Molten Reflection.
Oh, you target it.
Yeah.
Dang, interesting.
So at 7 mana, summon 1 copy of a friendly minion. That's pretty bad. And then you overload 3 mana crystals to upgrade it, and then it summons 2 copies of a friendly minion. And now you're getting onto Molten Reflection value. You know,
you've surpassed it at that point, because that would be 8 mana.
Yeah, and then overload 3 more mana crystals, and it becomes 7 mana to summon 2 copies of a friendly minion. But at 7 mana, I just don't see this finding a good target.
Also, this has to be in your hand as you're overloading these crystals.
Yeah, so you're not doing it the turn after.
Do you keep this in your hand, like, off a mulligan, just so that you can keep upgrading it off of overloading mana crystals early? I really don't think so.
Does it have to be in your hand to
I would
upgrade?
assume.
I guess so.
I would assume so. I mean, you know, usually, like, cards that have not needed to be in your hand have always specified in the past, like Cthulhu cards. It would say no matter where it is.
No matter,
I really don't like this one. I don't think
Something
this is
like
very good.
Earth Elemental would synergize pretty well because he's huge, he's cheap, and he's a good target to copy, and he overloads you.
Yeah, and he overloads you, but then, you're overloaded, and you can't copy him. And
Yeah.
2
Maybe
turns...
the trick there would be like,
Yeah.
throw out your Earth Elemental, do the reincarnation trick to it so he's super sticky. Then the next turn, you can do this and summon 2 of him, and
he might still have the death rattle on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if he still has the death rattle, your opponent can bottom right.
I think
point.
that's basically what you're going for if you try this. Unless there's some kind of sneaky little combo, especially if it's using cards we haven't seen yet. It can definitely produce a lot of value. I just feel like it's a little clunky to use.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it's so expensive and it works off of being overloaded seems very contrary to itself.
Mm-hmm. And with something like this, you'd ultimately... the best thing that you could do is copy a minion the same turn that you played the minion so that there's no chance of it being removed before you copy it. So, and even at 10 mana crystals, you're looking at copying a 3-drop with that.
Yeah, you can't even get Flame Wreath Faceless with it.
Yeah.
Unless you have the coin.
Mm-hmm. Although, kind of comparing it in a way to Bone Mare on the same mana cost and with a similar effect, you need a minion stuck to the board. It might work in that sense, but Bone Mare can take a really bad minion and make it awesome. This has to go on a minion that's already awesome.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. This is a tough call, but I kind of feel like it's going to be too clunky. There's always going to be just some fast aggro decks out there that are not going to give a shit that you're trying to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't know.
We'll give it 2.5.
I'm gonna go 2. I'm gonna go 2.
All right.
Half step back. All right. Moving on, we have one from Warrior here. Pretty basic card. 6 mana. It's called Gather Your Party. It's just a rare spell. 6 mana, recruit a minion. And obviously, we talked about recruit. It is not something you get to choose. It would summon a random minion from your deck for 6 mana. I can't even think of a deck construction that would benefit from this much RNG for that much mana.
Yeah, it's super high costed, but you are in complete control of what comes out here, theoretically.
Based off of your list.
Based off your list. So if you don't have any minions under 7 mana, then you're always gonna be better off here.
Yeah.
We have seen decks. They're gimmicky and stupid, and I hate them. But we have seen decks in the past that run 2 or 1 minion.
We have. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. This could find a home somewhere.
It could potentially. Yeah, it would have some Yashiraj shenanigans.
Yeah.
I don't think that this card would ever be used in a tier deck, a really well performing consistent deck. But you could definitely see it in that, old Hunter Barnes out Yashiraj style shenanigans that totally takes people out from time to time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, somebody will find some kind of crazy combo to exploit with this, but I don't think it's going to be a consistent thing.
No, this is a card that no matter how they try to balance, it's going to land on 6 mana. Because any cheaper, and you're kind of moving into some OP territory, and any more expensive, and it just gets worse and worse.
Right. I really prefer the cards that use the recruit ability to narrow the pool. I like the controlled RNG. This is technically still controlled RNG because you control what you put in the deck, but I prefer cards like even the common neutral one that we saw that summons it within certain parameters, because that way you're really it's kind of skillful at that point, because you need to know at every point in time what you've already drawn, what you've already played, what you could get. This is just total free-for-all, what's ever left in your deck.
Yeah, it might find a home somewhere, but until then, I don't know, 1.5 stars.
I'll give this. I'm gonna go a little bit more optimistic on this and go 2.5. I really think that it's at least gonna be a deck you run into occasionally on ladder that just makes you so angry when they pull it off, and you're just like, this shouldn't work, but it does.
Yeah, sure.
All right, and up last, but not least, especially not least amount of cards created by one card. Holy
Oh,
crap.
Jesus.
This is the Warlock Legendary Minion, Rin, the First Disciple. So strap in, because this is going to be a while. 6 mana, 3/6 taunt. So I like, right off the bat, I like that this has taunt. It's really good that it does, because you are setting up an extremely long combo with this card, and you're going to need some protection while you're trying to do it. When she dies, Death Rattle, and it's nice to see a taunt Death Rattle minion. I always like to see that, because they're forced to trade into it and start the effect. Add the first seal to your hand. And right there you can see the first seal. It's a 5 mana spell that summons a 2/2 demon, which is like, ouch. But you add the second seal to your hand when you cast that. So we'll move to the next slide here, which has all the other seals on it. And they progress as you might expect. The second seal is 5 mana, summon a 3/3 demon, add the third seal to your hand. The third seal is 5 mana, summon a 4/4 demon, add the fourth seal to your hand. The fourth seal adds a 5/5 and the final seal to your hand. When you cast the final seal, you get a 6/6 demon and a legendary demon called Azari the Devourer. And they're all 5 mana. So Azari the Devourer is a 10 mana 10/10 demon that battle cries to destroy your opponent's deck. Just
pretty good.
Hem it their entire deck. Just blast it, it's gone, and they're immediately in fatigue. This card has so many problems. I really don't think this is going to be good.
It's what, 35 mana to do this whole thing?
I was trying to calculate it out, and I think that the absolute earliest you could pull this off is turn 11, if you hit everything on curve and you were on the coin to get out Rin on turn 5 instead of turn 6.
Just like Rin herself isn't terrible, because a 3/6 taunt is solid.
Right, but then her mana cost is not great either.
No, it's not. But those seals are so, like, just under curve, like, so low value. Well, the card overall is high value technically, because you're getting fucking 7 cards out of it eventually. But the fact that you're spending 5 mana on a 2/2 demon is atrocious, and the thing doesn't even become worth it until it's the 6/6 demon.
Yeah, which is the
so
final
you're still
seal.
behind curve. Yeah. So unless you find out some way to just stall and stall and stall and stall and stall, and 5 mana is a lot. I mean, that's half of your mana.
How
budget.
are you stalling if you're spending 5 mana a turn just doing this?
But yeah, sure, destroying your opponent's deck, you're probably gonna win. But
yeah, but how many cards? Like, realistically, when you finish this, surviving by the skin of your teeth, because you're trying to do this incredibly low value combo thing. How many cards are you actually even destroying of your opponent's deck? Like, what turn is it when you finish this and actually play Azari? It's like turn 16. Like, maybe you're like, at best, I could see you destroying 10 of your opponent's cards with this. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot, but that's also kind of an optimistic amount of cards.
Yeah, I agree.
She's weak to silence, transform. A lot of the cards that we're seeing are. It's weird that they keep saying they don't want to, like, transform and silence effects to, like, affect the game that much, but then they're not really removing that many. They keep nerfing them. We saw Hex nerfed. We saw Ironbeak Owl nerfed like a while ago. But we still have cards like Devolve and Mass Dispel, and Priest has a ton, still has Silence, and the bird guy that does it. The
bird
Cabal,
guy's really
whatever guy.
Yeah.
And it's just weird. Like, you play that, and you're like, okay, here we go. Oh, it got hexed. It got silenced. It's all over.
Imagine if one of your seals got counterspelled.
Yeah. It's weak to many
things. Imagine if one of your seals got mana binded.
And then they could do it too, yeah.
Imagine if your final seal got mana binded. They're like, here's 0 mana, 10/10.
Yeah, 0 mana for a 6/6 and a 10 mana 10/10. Yeah, it'd be crazy. In general, I mean, I see what they're going for. Warlock's definitely one of the classes that can have stall mechanics and last out and put combos together, but I just don't think this is worth it at all.
Maybe we shouldn't be looking at the end result, which is Azari the Devourer, and maybe we should just be looking at the fact that a okay taunt minion comes out and then gives you a card that you can play if you have nothing else to do, which gives you a card that you can play if you have nothing else to do, over and over and over and over again. And maybe it's enough.
Maybe.
To be just enough of a presence on the board to, shut them, outvalue your opponent. But
I mean, I see what you're saying. I can definitely see the argument for, it's like, well, you don't play a seal unless you've just got 5 mana to float, but I don't know what kind of deck you're playing when you've got 5 mana to float. I mean, there are definitely turns where you're just going to tap and, not do much and pass. And I mean, I guess those turns you could just fill with a seal, but I don't know. I guess, it's really hard to say definitively, but
yeah, it is.
My instinct says that this is just not enough.
You've never seen anything this ludicrous.
Yeah, and Azari, whereas Rin comes down and protects your butt a little bit with the taunt, Azari leaves you wide open when you play him. I mean, you put your opponent into fatigue, but they only take 1 damage that turn. He doesn't have taunt. He doesn't set your health to 15 or do anything that helps you to live. So.
It's true.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go. This is really hard. This is a really hard one to rate. I'm trying to compare it to like the stat line, the taunt stat line to other minions. 6 mana, I think you get a 3/8, so it's not that far behind. And there are better 6 mana taunts, but I'm just going with like the neutral standard. I don't know. What would you say?
Like a 2.
Yeah, I want to say 2. I want to say 2 as well. We'll see if that's like the one that we really whiff on and we're just totally wrong, but I feel like it just doesn't get there. It's just too slow.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to pull off.
Yeah, but that does it for cards revealed at this point. That's all we've seen. Very interesting flavor for this set. I like that we're kind of getting 2 new mechanics with the recruit and the upgrade. That's pretty cool.
And the legendary weapons.
Yeah, the legendary weapons. It's not like a mechanic, but it is really cool to see other classes get access to weapons. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see one of the weapon-wielding classes legendary weapons.
Because we've only seen the non-weapon ones.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all 0/3s.
Yeah, I wonder, like, are the legendary weapons for the weapon-wielding classes going to just be really overpowered face damage or removal weapons, or are they going to be 0/3s too?
I bet they won't be 0/3s.
It would be interesting, though, if they were, and had really insane effects, and made you have to decide if you want to use weapons for damage, or sacrifice that and use the 0/3 for whatever benefit you get.
Yeah, I don't want to have to decide that.
I'm just saying it would be interesting. I personally don't think they would do it that way either. But all right, so interestingly enough, we got the expansion reveal. So our card challenge from last week is not as relevant as it once would have been. But last week, I believe, was it you that posed the challenge or was it me? Can't remember.
It was yours.
Okay, it was mine. I posed use the clues and little hints and stuff that we got to make a card for a new expansion, not knowing what it is, but now we do know. So I'm not sure if people kind of like edited their cards after the expansion was revealed, or if we still have everyone's first draft. But we have some really cool ideas in this week's challenge. So let's check out what we got.
Prepare yourself for the ultimate test.
All right, up first we have DJ Fresh with a Vanessa Van Cleef, who I've learned is Edwin's daughter.
Yep.
And she is a 6-mana legendary rogue minion. 5/5 stats. Combo, destroy a random enemy minion for each other card you've played this turn. Which is pretty cool. On 6 mana, I feel like, they've got a bunch of the 0-cost spells and stuff that they could save to combo with this. But then you're not saving them to combo with Edwin, and you're really like putting all your chips into Vanessa.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't know, at first glance I feel like, oh, this is kind of broken, but you can, at 6 mana, you can Equality Consecration and destroy your opponent's entire board.
Exactly.
And that's a combo in and of itself.
Yeah.
So, this may or may not be better than that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Regardless, it's a cool idea.
Yeah, I do like it. I think that the high cost of the mana and just the inherent difficulty of saving up combo cards to use with this makes it fine.
Yeah.
And you might not be able to hit like let's say your opponent has 3 minions out and 2 of them are really good, but you can only combo 2 cards with this. You're just like, please hit the good ones, And it ends up being almost like a brawl type thing.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's well designed.
Yeah. All right, thanks for that one. Up next, we got kind of a goofy one, but I really like the idea behind this. From Nepeta, we have Disco Spellstone, which is a 2-mana warlock spell that all it does is allows you to discard a card of your choice, which sounds weird as hell, but it actually would be really good for warlock. That gives you a guaranteed 2-mana, Silverware Golem. You can keep discarding your Clutch Mother Zavis at your leisure.
Clutch Mother would be a good target.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you don't have anything that's necessarily discard synergy to discard, you can pick that one card that you were hoping you discarded anyway. Instead of something better, and you're cycling with Malchezaar Zimp, you're beefing up your what's the lifesteal minion, the 1/6?
Blood Queen Lanethel?
Yeah, Lanethel. You're beefing up your Lanethel all the while you're doing it, and not putting anything at risk for being discarded. Which, by the way, this is kind of an upgradable spell, because the number of cards that you discard each time goes up every time you use this card.
Every time you discard
a card. No, every time you discard a card, it goes up before you use this. Okay, I had that twisted in my head. So, I guess maybe you just want to use it when you only discard one card.
Yeah, because discarding, usually there's only just the one that you want to, get out of your hand.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work super well as a upgrade card, but I like it for Disco Lock. It gives them more options. It makes things playable that weren't playable before.
Disco Lock. That's pretty funny. All right, so up next from I'm a Dragon, we have another rogue minion, the Kobold King, 4-mana 4/4, Battle Cry. Return all friendly minions to your hand and reduce their cost by 1. I think it's super cool. It's like just a vanish your board effect.
Yeah, I think he's a little understated, but I think there are applications for this, like, without a doubt, for Rogue. I mean, Rogue feeds off of this kind of stuff. That's another Keleseth bounce right there.
Yeah, Keleseth, SI7 agent, Swashbuckler. Swashbucklers become free. Your SIs are 2 mana. You have so much that you could do with this. Honestly, it might be like too strong. I think the only reason it's not is because it's just a 1 copy thing, and you're not necessarily going to get him when your board is perfect for bouncing the whole thing. There are definitely times when you're going to not be able to play this because you'd actually set yourself a little too far back.
Yeah.
And you're also not returning your opponent's minions to their hand like you do with Vanish, so you're sacrificing some board there.
But with Rogue, that might not matter. Yeah, this seems... It's definitely a build-around. There's definitely an archetype for it, but I think this card would find a home.
Definitely. Yeah, I really like it. It's a very cool card.
Yeah, super well done.
All right, thanks, I'm a Dragon. Up next, we have from Steph Van Essen, Kobold Voodoo Doctor, which is a 5-mana 4/2 that gives you spell damage -2 when he's on the board. So your spells ain't doing shit when he's on here. And he death rattles to recruit a minion with spell damage. At first glance, it seems really underpowered to me because the 4/2 stats for 5 mana is really bad, and he's giving you a negative effect. I'm not sure how many cards give the spell damage right now. You've got the Geomancer, the Evolved Kobold, the Tainted Zealot,
Malagos.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. That's what I'm getting to. There's like a 6 mana 4/4 that gives you,
like 2 spell
yeah,
damage.
plus 2 spell power.
Oh yeah, it's like a Nerubian or something.
Yeah, the Nerubian Web Weaver or something, or Spell Weaver. And then capping it all. That's why I wanted to like go through the process of thinking what the pool is, because if you get Malagos off of this, very obviously very good. You can control when that death rattles and blow your opponent out.
He's the only spell damage minion you put in the deck.
Yeah.
I wonder if Kobold Voodoo Doctor would pull itself out, since technically it has spell damage. It's just -2.
Yeah, I mean, it's technically a spell damage modifier, so it could pull itself out.
Yeah.
You know, obviously you are going to possibly draw Malagos before it dies. I keep thinking of Recruit as a discover mechanic, but it pulls it from your deck. So
yeah, it just pulls it right out.
You can really easily only put Malagos in the deck, which is awesome, but it's not always going to work because of sequencing. So
this could be like either really bad or really busted.
Yeah.
Just depending on how the meta is at the time.
Yep, it's a combo enabler. Like, Mage would love this. Just a bunch of arcane missiles and frost bolts.
The fact that it's neutral.
Yeah.
And you can just, like, you could be playing Druid and just Moonfire them in the face for 1,000,000.
Yeah. Yeah, back to those days where you used to have to set it up with Emperor Tharson, but now you just use this.
Yeah.
All right.
Super interesting idea.
Yeah, it is. It is cool. It is cool. Like, and if your opponent can somehow, force you to keep this on the board longer than you want to, not giving you traits that allow you to kill it off, even though it only does have the 2 health, or freezing it or something, it could really backfire.
Yeah.
So, all right. Up next, from Aoricos Dragon, we have another Vanessa Van Cleef, which is pretty funny, and it works kind of similarly with combo and stuff. It's a 6 mana, 5/5 again, and she battle cries to add a Void Compass to your hand. And if you play her with combo, she gains +3/+3, so she could be an 8/8. I think that particular part of it might be a little over the top, because what she gives you is a ton of value. The Void Compass is actually a quest, which is kind of cool. It's like a different way to get a quest rather than just starting it, with it in your hand.
Yeah.
And the quest is to deal 10 damage to the enemy hero, which is a lot. That's a good amount of damage. I mean, even if they were at full, you've already, dealt them a third of their total health. And the reward is Void Daggers, and this is where it gets really insane. The weapon costs 0, so you can immediately equip it. It's a 4 mana with no durability because it can't break. It has Wind Fury, and your hero is immune when attacking. And when your hero is attacked, you have a 50% chance to avoid the damage.
Very cool idea.
Yeah, I think the Void Daggers. The Void Daggers are too much, and the combo is too much too.
Yeah, that's so easy to do.
Yeah, but I like the idea of giving you that last push to finish off your opponent. It's like giving them a timer in the form of that weapon. It's similar to Jiraxxus. Like, once Jiraxxus comes down, you're going to swing for 3 every turn. You're going to make 6 6s, and it gives you an inevitability component to ending the game. I like that aspect of it, but certain things just need to be turned down on this.
Yeah.
Because you would just build a deck that solely tries to do exactly this and then just go absolutely nuts and never die.
I feel like Void Daggers, like, if that was just a card, it would cost like 10 mana.
Yeah, at least. I mean, that's the most it could. You have to somehow get 11 mana crystals to play this because it's so OP. But yeah. It's pretty awesome. I like the idea of it. All right, up next from Jesse Nash, we have Captain Cookie. He kind of repurposed this card from the Tavern Brawl, which is funny. It's a 5 mana 4/4 Pirate Murloc, and as part of its text, it says this minion is both a pirate and a Murloc. give all minions who share a tribe with this one +2/+2. That is nuts. That is so crazy. Like, say hello again to all the water decks, Water Rogue, and all those, Finja pulling out Murloc War Leaders, and oh my god, this would be insane.
Pirate Murloc decks would just be going nuts.
Yeah, we really don't need pirates to be any more OP than they currently are.
But it's a very Magic the Gathering-esque idea.
It is, yeah.
In fact, he's got 2 tribes on his text, and anything that shares a tribe is going to get buffed, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that aspect of it, and it's very good that he doesn't buff himself.
But he would make Patches come out. Patches would be a 3/3.
Oh, it would be complete insanity. You would easily play this in Rogue with Swashbucklers and just other really good pirates. And once this hits, you're just like, game over, man.
Yeah.
All right, and that brings us to our submissions. So thank you very much for everyone who submitted for our challenge this week. Let's take a look at what Dookie and I came up with. So you are up first. I really like yours this week. It's very cool.
So yeah, when we thought it was going to be pirate related, I decided to make a pirate card. So I made a beefed up version of Patches called Patches the Plunderer. And he was a 6-mana 5/5 that battle cried to summon a random pirate from your deck and give it charge. Mm-hmm. But me and Clash were like talking about that over the last couple weeks, and like it's probably pretty OP because you would just put Captain Greenskin and Naga Corsair in the deck, just the high cost pirates, and you could just pull out the high cost ones. They'd have charge. He'd be totally broken.
Yeah.
But when I saw the recruit keyword, I nerfed him and made him more balanced. So now he's a 6-mana 5/4 pirate that has Battle Cry. Recruit a pirate that costs 3 or less and give it charge.
Yeah, so you're precluding the 5-attack pirates, which is key. Yeah. Yeah,
you're not getting any pirates more expensive than 3. So the best you can hope for with this is probably like a South Sea Captain.
Yeah, actually, Captain's pretty damn good. A pretty damn good target for that. I didn't even think of Captain.
You're getting yourself an 8/7 stats there. Mm-hmm. And actually, you're getting 9/8 stats because he gives +1/+1.
Yeah.
So this might still be a little broken.
You know what? It might just have to be 2 or less.
Might have to be 2 or less.
Because that way your pool is like the 2-mana 2/3, the 2/1 that already has charge when you have a weapon, stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah.
So the idea was obviously like when you play a pirate, Patches fires out of your deck and he has charge and you can hit them with him immediately. So this is the opposite. He pulls one of your pirates out and gives it charge.
So my number one question here is, when you play him, does he say, "You're in charge now"?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But at the same time, he's even more the captain than he was before. So
yeah,
I don't know.
All right, and lastly, here is mine. And surprise, surprise, I made another priest card. So I use the name White Whisker, which is actually one of the tribes of Murlocs in World of Warcraft. I don't think he's actually ever just like an individual kobold, but I thought it was a cool name. So he's a 6-mana 4/4. And he battle cries to summon up to 3 friendly minions with spell damage that died this game. So I was going off of, how I mentioned before that kobolds, like Murlocs, are very tribal. They like to stick together and swarm things, and pretty much the only mechanic we've seen kobolds share in this game is spell damage. And it gets really hard when you want to make a card like this when they don't make this established thing its own tribe. Like, Kobold is not a tribe, just like Undead wasn't made a tribe in Frozen Throne. I'm not sure why they keep choosing to do that. I think it would be really interesting if they introduced a new tribe with every set. But in this way, it stays tribal. There are cards that aren't kobolds that give spell damage, so it breaks that aspect of it a little bit. And you've
Malagos.
You've got the Malagos thing again. But it was the closest thing I could get to making a card that's basically like summon your kobolds back, which is what I was
Yeah.
going for. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's a cool idea because you play it on curve and you might not get much, but the later you play it, the worse the minion actually is, but the more you're probably going to get back. And you're not going to get Malagos off of this guy unless you've already played Malagos and Malagos has died.
Right.
So, yeah, maybe Malagos doesn't break it. Maybe it's kind of right on the money there.
Maybe, but what you could do with him being 6 mana, and if you do just build the deck to reliably summon Malagos as his target, you have 4 mana left over for 2 Mind Blasts, which is 20 damage. So
that is true.
But I mean, also it's really hard to make priest decks that run Mind Blast, especially 2 copies of it. So because they're a dead card until you assemble your combo. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a combo card.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it. It's
cool.
Good flavor, and I like his name.
White Whisker. Yeah, it was like kind of a miracle that I actually found like a kobold-looking thing that looks like a wizened old man.
Yeah. On the subject of tribes, at least what they should do is just make the ones that were in WoW, which actually Pirate wasn't. Murloc wasn't a tribe because, okay, I don't know if you remember this, but if you were like a hunter and you had like the tracking,
right.
All the things you could track. So I think in WoW it was dragon, elemental,
humanoid,
undead, beast.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely beast.
Yeah.
Is that it? Oh, demons. Yeah, that's a good one.
I believe mechanical. Mechanical was one.
Oh, okay.
But now Hearthstone has Murloc specifically, which they were humanoids in WoW, and they have pirates, which were also humanoids in WoW.
True.
So they've kind of already strayed away from doing that, even though they have the mech, elemental, and dragon in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just like tribes.
I like tribes too, and that could be our Magic background talking, but it does open up more possibilities for interaction with the cards. Like, you could make a tribe and not introduce that much tribal synergy to it if you don't want them to have it.
You don't have to.
But there's almost no reason not to make them a tribe.
Yeah. There's just something cool about a card being like included in a tribe. Like in Magic, in the more modern years, they've been giving every creature has gotten a race and class, more or less, unless it's just like, this is a beast.
Right.
Because like back in the day, it would be like summon goblin, but now it says like creature, goblin warrior. So like, it's just very uniform. That's one thing I really like about Magic is it's always very consistent, very uniform. Wording is very consistent. So it's the game has very complicated rules, but you can always figure out what they mean because the cards are always going to be consistent with what's going to actually happen, how it's going to affect the game.
Yeah.
But anyway, tangent.
I was gonna say something else. I just totally blanked. So anyway, that does it for our show this week. Very cool to get the release of the new set. I'm really excited for it. It's always just really exciting to be looking forward to new cards. And I don't know when we're gonna get hit with some more reveals, but I hope it's soon. Maybe by our show this time next week. Or are we able to do the show next week?
I don't think so. I think we got that wedding.
Oh yeah, we are both going to
married.
be getting married to each other.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to skip next week again. So we'll be back 2 weeks from now. Then hopefully we'll have a good number of new cards to go through at that point. But for now, stick around if you want to play some games with us or watch us open our golden packs.
Yep.
Dookie, you want to tell them where they can find us and everything?
Oh, absolutely. You can follow us both on Twitter. You can see our handles on the screen if you're watching the stream or the VOD. Mine is at DookieShed, spelled like it sounds, and Clash's is at Clash, KLASHE _HS. And you can follow us on our Salty Dog Podcast account to @SaltyDogPodcast. And, just search for Salty Dog Podcast in any platform that has podcasts, including YouTube, and you will find us there. Be sure to give us a good rating if you like the show. Yeah, that about does it.
All right, that sounds good. So 2 weeks from now, we'll be seeing you then.
Card challenge.
Oh, yeah, it's your turn.
I got it. I already thought of it. Now I just have to remember what I thought of. Design a card with recruit.
Oh, okay. I like that because I really like that mechanic, yeah.
Yeah, make a recruit card.
Okay. Sounds good. Boom. Done. And that does it. We're out. All right, till 2 weeks from now. Peace out.
Peace out there.